So please can you introduce yourself to our lovely viewers?
Certainly can. My name's Ted Bennett, and I'm the director of Real Terror.
Real terror. Oh, it really is.
Spooky, spooky.
It really is spooky, spooky. I have so many questions, but we'll be here all day. So congratulations at being here at the first ever FP Shorts Film Awards. How does it feel to be here?
FP Shorts gave us our first win back when we won our monthly round. So it means so much to be here now because they were the first people that made me go, yeah, this film is going to be a thing. This is it. This is, people love our film. So it feels so nice to be here now, like at the end where it's the annual event.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely brilliant. As I said, congratulations. The film is chilling. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it. But tell me, how did you come up with the idea in the first place?
I collect physical media and 8mm, 16mm film. And I would find myself just going into random people's basements, apartments, just people's living rooms in parts of the country that you wouldn't normally go to.
I take it that they knew you were actually in there and you weren't just breaking into people's houses.
Sure, let's go with that. No, of course, there was at least one text message. No, so I would turn up and I'd sort of just be rummaging through, and then they'd be like, oh, I've got some more things upstairs. And I'm like, show me the way. And then I would go upstairs and just think like, oh, no one knows I'm here and I didn't tell anyone. And then go back to searching. And I just thought like, oh, anything can happen. And what would be the worst thing? And obviously my brain was like, well, the worst thing would be a possessed film reel. And it was like, yes, that would be the worst thing. So it kind of led from there. There's a short story called Rust, which plays with this idea of a projectionist and a reel. And my friend Rich Fox wrote this short story and as a Christmas gift for all his friends one year and just sort of gave it out.
Cool gift.
Yeah, I know, it was great. And I read it and I was just like, oh, I've got a similar thing going on. And I was like, do you want to help me out and sort of see what we can do? And between Rich and Cal, our other writer, we came up with this great story, in my opinion. And this is where Real Terror is.
That's brilliant. I love it when things fall into place. So in terms of casting, how did that process happen?
So my two main leads, Simon Starton and Stevenson Ajuansoji, I knew these guys. I knew them before, and I always thought like I'd love to write something for them. And with Stevenson specifically, he's such a sweetheart in real life. So when I was like, I want to write something that actually turns that on you. I want you to be seen. I want people to see you as actually quite a menacing figure because you're so sweet. He's currently Simba in the West End, so that's how nice he is. But so when it came up to the casting, I was like, I only see Stevenson in this role. So when I asked him, I was like, can I afford you? And are you free? And he was like, what a lovely message to receive. Yes, I am. And then the same with Simon. Simon has been a jobbing actor for 30, 40 years. And I've always wanted to work with Simon because he's such a good character actor. And when I showed him the script, he was a bit hesitant at first. He was like, oh, I'd have to read the script first. And I was like, of course. And then I showed him the script. And he was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Wow.
We're in. And I was like, yes. So
that must be the ultimate compliment.
It was so nice knowing that someone who's been in the game, he's read scripts, he's seen good and bad. And for him to instantly go, oh, no, this is something I can sink my teeth into. I want this. And it was like, good. And they picked it up so quickly. When we were going through rehearsals, you could just tell that these two got it. And I think that does help having, I wrote the roles kind of for them. So I knew their personalities, but the fact that they just really got it straight away was so good.
It must have been so rewarding as a filmmaker to see your characters coming to life.
It really was. There would be times where I was just on set and like one or two takes and I'd be like, we got it, guys. That's it. And they'd be like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. Like the only reason we didn't get it the first time is because I was in the back of the shot. But other than that, we're all good. Like it was just so comforting when you're seeing two professionals and you're like, well done, boys. Well done.
No,
so yeah.
But also, I mean, as an actor, for a director to go, yeah, that's you. You've done it. You do sometimes think, really? Are you sure? But that was easy. So
I think
seeing it from both sides, it's quite interesting.
I think I spoke to them about this and they were saying that because in short films you don't get much time to do rehearsal. And I really sat them down and instead of running through the script and running the lines, we just sat down and it was like, right, so Ron, before this event, what happened to him? It's like, why is he in this house on his own? And then Simon had just come up with this wonderful backstory. And he was like, what does that sound like? And I was like, yeah, I like some of that. And I was like, what if we had some of this in there? And he was like, oh, yeah, some of that. So then when you're playing your role, you know everything that came into that being. So if you try something, we all know it's on the right page. So that comfort in knowing that it's like, yeah, we all know the world. So we can play a bit more in this world now. So that was very fun.
Well, that's brilliant. I think that's the thing. It's very important to have a very well-rounded character and to know your character inside out. Even if what you know is irrelevant to the story, it kind of is.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's all those things. Like one of the questions I asked them, like, as your character, what was the first one we saw at the cinema? And it made them stop and think. And they were like, oh, it was this. And I was like, and why? And it was like, because I asked Mum to take me. And I was like, right, great, use that.
Yeah.
And I'll never reference that. But you know the first time film was important to you as a child, as your character. So you know your history of film already. So it's great.
That's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So what's next in the cards for you?
We've got a couple of things brewing at the moment. We are working on a feature for Real Terror. That's very early in production, as in writing stage of it. We also have another script that we have been shopping around called Headwood, which is a very fun horror-y road movie.
Ooh, that sounds exciting and very intriguing.
Yeah, that one we're very pleased with, and we were getting quite far with it until there was a moment of like, we should do Real Terror first because we have the proof of concept in a short. And I was like, oh yeah, we should. And I was like, but I love Headwood now. But so now we're just sort of trying to go back and working on it. But it's not a bad thing having a couple of great stories to play with.
Well, I was going to say, and the fact that you've actually made this short film, you can use that as a showcase to get funding for your other projects, because it's, well, what a great calling card it is. It really is fantastic. Congratulations for being here. And how are you feeling about tonight?
Very excited and nervous.
I've got everything plus for you.